The Galactic Council's chambers were steeped in an atmosphere of foreboding. Delegates from the galaxy's most advanced civilizations filled the towering hall, their whispered debates creating a tense undercurrent. Ornate banners, representing eons of interstellar diplomacy, hung above their heads, a stark contrast to the urgency that now gripped them. Counselor Vrax, a seasoned diplomat with a reputation for level-headed pragmatism, took his place at the center of the room. His scaled features reflected the chamber's glowing light as he raised a clawed hand to quiet the assembly. "Delegates," he began, his deep voice steady but resolute, "we face a threat not just to Earth but to ourselves. Warlord Turkin, a figure of unchecked ambition and brutality, has turned his gaze upon humanity." A murmur rippled through the delegates, some exchanging wary glances, others scoffing openly. Earth was hardly worth the Council's attention, let alone a full assembly. To most, it was a fledgling planet, barely capable of interstellar travel. "Humanity," Vrax continued, "is young, yes. They are technologically inferior. But they possess something our species lack: an unparalleled adaptability born from millennia of survival under the harshest conditions. Turkin believes Earth will fall as countless others have. I assure you, it will not be that simple." Counselor Morak of the Bastorian race leaned forward, his steel-plated body gleaming. "Are we truly debating over a species that is barely beyond the Stone Age? Turkin will crush them as he has done to countless worlds. Why should we care?" Rax met Morak's glare with calm intensity. "Because the consequences of this invasion will not remain on Earth. Humanity has a dangerous trait. When pushed to the brink, they evolve. Their ingenuity will make them a wildfire, one that will spread through our carefully balanced galaxy." The council erupted into argument. Some delegates dismissed Vrax's warnings as exaggerated, while others began to consider the ramifications. After an hour of heated debate, the council settled on a decision. They would send a warning to Turkin, urging him to abandon his plans for Earth. Few believed it would change anything. Far across the galaxy, on the volcanic world of Turkin's capital, the warlord sat in his throne room, a cavernous space carved from the bones of extinct species. His black armor, scarred from countless battles, seemed to drink in the dim red light. A holographic message from the council flickered before him, displaying Vrax's calm visage. "Earth is not to be touched," Vrax's voice echoed. "Turkin, this is not a conquest you will survive." Turkin smirked, his yellow eyes glowing with contempt. "Earth? A primitive speck? The council grows weak if they think this species is worth a warning." With a flick of his wrist, he dismissed the hologram. "Prepare the fleet," he ordered, his voice reverberating through the chamber. "Let them see the price of arrogance." As his armada prepared for war, one figure lingered in the shadows: Dren, Turkin's loyal lieutenant. Unlike his master, Dren had studied humanity. He had read reports of their survival against impossible odds, their unrelenting resourcefulness. For the first time in his career, he felt a pang of doubt. "They won't fall easily," he murmured to himself as the war drums of conquest began to beat. The first signs of Turkin's arrival came as a distortion in Earth's satellites, a ripple of interference that silenced communications and froze screens. Then the sky darkened as his armada emerged from hyperspace. Massive ships, dark and ominous, loomed over cities, their sheer size casting entire neighborhoods into shadow. In the Earth Unified Defense Command bunker, General Alice Munro stood before a holographic map of the planet. Red markers representing Turkin's forces blinked ominously. Her team of scientists and military leaders scrambled to devise strategies, the tension in the room palpable. "We don't have the firepower to match them," an advisor exclaimed. "Their technology is decades, no, centuries beyond ours." Monroe silenced the room with a sharp gesture. Her piercing gaze swept over her team, her voice calm but unyielding. "Then we'll fight with what they don't have: ingenuity. Let's show them how humans adapt under pressure." Orders flew across the bunker, across the globe. Humanity mobilized in ways never seen before. Civilians joined soldiers in makeshift barricades, and engineers converted everyday objects into weapons of war. Scientists repurposed research projects into tools of resistance, crafting drones outfitted with electromagnetic pulses and creating cyber programs to hack into the invader systems. In Paris, alien walkers with glowing razor-sharp legs stalked the streets, scattering panicked civilians. But resistance fighters, armed with drones, swarmed the machines, disabling their shields and exposing vulnerable circuits. In New York, repurposed construction equipment toppled alien tanks and ambushes. From the forests of South America to the deserts of Africa, humanity fought back with the ferocity of cornered prey. Meanwhile, Monroe watched the battlefield from the command center, her mind racing. Deploy the disruptor towers, she ordered. Across major cities, concealed towers activated. These neural disruptors emitted low-frequency pulses designed to interfere with the aliens' advanced neural links. Within moments, Turkin's ground forces faltered. Soldiers dropped their weapons as their coordination disintegrated. Their once organized advance crumbled into chaos. On board his flagship, Turkin watched the unfolding disaster through holographic projections. His yellow eyes burned with fury as he slammed his fist against the command console, cracking the metal. Impossible. How are they resisting us? He roared. His lieutenant, Dren, stepped forward cautiously. My lord, they are using unconventional tactics. Their creativity. Silence, Turkin bellowed. Deploy the Annihilator drone. Burn their cities to ash. The Annihilator drones descended in waves, unleashing fire and destruction across cities. But humanity was ready. In Moscow, an underground resistance group hacked into the drone's systems, redirecting them to attack Turkin's own forces. In Rio de Janeiro, civilians used hijacked alien tech to create MP grenades, neutralizing the drones in midair. As the chaos unfolded, Monroe stood firm, directing her forces with precision. The neural disruptors continued to sow havoc among the invaders, but she knew this advantage wouldn't last forever. We're holding them off, she said to her advisors, her voice steely, but it's not enough. We need to strike at their heart. Her gaze turned to the holographic image of Turkin's flagship, a monstrous ship hovering ominously over Earth's horizon. It was clear to her this war wouldn't end until Turkin was defeated. She issued the order that would decide the fate of the planet. Prepare the strike team. We're taking the fight to him. In the dead of night, a stealth ship pierced the chaos of battle, slipping past Turkin's armada undetected. On board, Captain Ray and his elite strike team sat in silence, their faces illuminated by the faint glow of mission data. Each knew the stakes. The fate of Earth rested on their shoulders. Their mission was simple yet almost impossible: board Turkin's flagship, disable its systems, and end the invasion. Ray adjusted his tactical visor and addressed his team. We've trained for this. No distractions, no second chances. We go in, take him down, and make it out alive. Let's show them why they should never underestimate humanity. The stealth ship docked with the flagship's hull. The team deployed into the ship's labyrinthine corridors, every step calculated and silent. The alien architecture was cold and unwelcoming, its jagged edges glowing faintly with pulsating energy. Moving quickly, they hacked into the ship's security systems, disabling patrol routes and tracking their way to the command center. The resistance came swiftly. Alien guards, towering and heavily armored, blocked their path. The first ambush erupted in a narrow hallway. Energy bolts ricocheted off the walls as Ray's team engaged, using cover and hit and run tactics to outmaneuver their foes. Grenade! Ray shouted, tossing an MT device. It detonated with a sharp crack, disabling the guards' energy shields. His team capitalized on the opening, taking the enemies down with precision fire. They pressed on, each skirmish growing fiercer. The team's demolitions expert, Jensen, planted charges along the way, ensuring their escape route would remain intact. We don't get paid enough for this, he muttered, earning a dry laugh from one of his teammates. Finally, the team breached the command center, a vast chamber dominated by a holographic display of Earth, its continents outlined in crimson light. At the center of the room stood Turkin. His massive figure loomed in his battle-worn armor, the black plates seeming to absorb the dim light. His cold yellow eyes locked onto the intruders. So, Turkin growled, his voice reverberating through the chamber. The humans send their best to face me. How quaint. Captain Ray leveled his weapon, his voice steady. You've underestimated us long enough. This ends now. Turkin smirked and drew his massive energy blade, its edge crackling with power. You think you can defeat me? I have crushed empires far greater than yours. The room erupted into chaos. Turkin moved with surprising speed, his blade carving arcs of destruction as the team fought to subdue him. Ray's team used every tactic. They had explosives, diversionary maneuvers, and concentrated fire, but Turkin's strength was overwhelming. Several members of the team were injured, their armor scorched by glancing blows. "Deploy the disruptor!" Ray shouted. Jensen activated the prototype device, a pulse designed to nullify Turkin's weapon systems. The energy blade flickered and died, its glowing edge disappearing in a burst of sparks. Turkin roared in fury, charging forward with brute force. But his movements were slower now, his armor battered and exposed in key places. Ray seized the moment. Focus fire on his weak points. The team unleashed a final barrage of firepower, targeting the vulnerable joints of Turkin's armor. With a deafening crash, the warlord fell to his knees, his yellow eyes blazing with defiance even in defeat. "You will never win," Turkin rasped, his voice a guttural growl. Ray approached, his weapon trained on the warlord. "This isn't about winning, this is about survival. And humanity always survives." With one final shot, Turkin collapsed, his massive frame crashing to the ground. The room fell silent, the once unstoppable warlord lying motionless at their feet. Back on Earth, General Monroe received the news. A wave of relief washed over her. But she knew the fight wasn't over. The alien fleet, though disoriented by Turkin's death, still posed a threat. "Captain Ray," she transmitted to the strike team, "the job's not done. We need that flagship under our control." Ray nodded, turning to his team. "Let's finish this." Jensen quickly hacked into the flagship's systems, disabling the fleet's communications and weapons. Across the solar system, Turkin's forces faltered, their coordination shattered. Earth's defenders launched a final counteroffensive, driving the invaders into retreat. As the skies cleared, Monroe stood on the rooftop of the command bunker, watching the first rays of dawn break through the smoke-filled sky. Earth had survived. Cities lay in ruins. Lives were lost, but humanity had proven its resilience once again. A transmission from the Galactic Council broke her thoughts. Counselor Vrax's holographic figure appeared, his expression a mix of respect and caution. "General Monroe, Earth has done the impossible, but with Turkin's death, a dangerous vacuum of power has formed. The galaxy will watch your species closely." Monroe met his gaze, her voice firm. "Let them watch. We'll be ready." As humanity began to rebuild, the question lingered. Was this the beginning of a new era, or the calm before another storm? In the shadows of a distant system, Drin, Turkin's lieutenant, gathered the remnants of the warlord's forces. His crimson eyes burned with hatred. "They think this is over," he growled. "They'll learn soon enough. Earth will fall." The battle for Earth had ended, but the war for humanity's place in the galaxy had just begun.